Okay, today we're going to talk about our CC1 8.3.3 review and preview. Just a reminder, in class we've been working with distance, rate, and time. So we understand that distance equals rate times time, and we can figure out that rate is the distance and how much time it takes. Time is the distance divided by rate. Problem 116. Mr. Benesh is in charge of facilities at Walt Clark Middle School. He is organizing a project to paint all 36 classrooms during the school's summer break. He estimates that it takes one person 5 hours to paint each classroom. Part A, how many total hours would it take for one person to paint all the classrooms? So it takes 5 hours for one person. Okay. And there's 36 classrooms. So my unit, 5 hours for one person. Okay. I'm going to multiply 36 times my 5 hours. Just for that one person, it's a unit rate. Okay. 36 times 5 is 180. It's going to take that one person 180 hours to paint all the classrooms. Mr. Benesh has a team of 4 workers that he is planning to assign to the job. Assuming they all paint at the same rate of 5 hours per classroom, how many hours would it take the team to do the painting? So if it's 5 hours per one person and it takes 180 hours for one person, I can take my 180 hours and say, well, instead of one person, I'm saying I want to figure out how much time it takes for 4 people. That is 180 divided by 4. That's going to get me the amount of hours it's going to take. It's going to take 45 hours for 4 people versus 180 hours for one person. Mr. Benesh is realizing that he needs the painting to be finished in 9 hours, so a different team can come in to wax the floors before school starts. How many people will he need to assign to do the painting in order to do this? So I still want to go back to this 180 hours for one person. Okay. I need to go from 180, okay, to 9. So what do I have to do to get to 9 hours? How many people is it going to take me to get from 180 hours for one person to 9 hours? So 9 hours to 180 hours, I'm multiplying by 20 if I'm going this direction. Okay. So if I'm multiplying by 20 to go to this direction, to go from one person to 9 hours, I have to multiply by 20. It's going to take 20 people to complete all the rooms in 9 hours. I know that's a little confusing, but I'm going from 180 to 9 hours. So, okay, I'm dividing by 20 to get to 9. If I'm dividing by 20 to get to 9, okay, I have to multiply by the same number to get to the 20 people, because it's one person for 180 hours. Okay, problem number 117, convert the following data and write equivalent measurements. Use the information in the math notes box to help you. you don't have the math notes box at home, but it is conversion. These are ones we should know. We should know that there are 12 inches in a foot, 60 minutes in an hour, 24 hours in a day. How many inches are in 6 feet? Well, if there are 12 inches in 1 foot, I'm going to do 12 times 6, which is 72 inches. How many inches are in 5 feet? 2 inches. I can convert it. Well, 12 times 5 is 60, and I have to add in my other 2 inches, so I have 62 inches. How many minutes are in 7.5 hours? If I take 7.5 hours and I multiply it by how many minutes are in an hour, so 7.5 times 60. Okay. If I use a calculator, I don't have to use a calculator, but it is 450 minutes. How many hours are in 2 days? 1 day has 24 hours. 2 days has 48 hours. How many days are in 3,168 minutes? Well, 3,168 minutes. I want to get into hours first because I'm going to go from minutes to hours to days. So 60 minutes is 1 hour. So 3,168 divided by 60 equals 52 8/10 hours. Okay, that's my hours. Now I want to go from hours to days. Okay, so 1 day has 24 hours. So 52 8/10 divided by 24 equals 2 2/10 days. On the other side, I have a triangle. If the area of the triangle is 175 hundredths centimeters squared, what is the height? Okay, so I start with the formula for a triangle. Area equals base times height divided by 2. I can fill in what I know. So I know the area is 175 hundredths centimeters squared. I know that that is my base, so 13, times my height, which is what I'm trying to find, divided by 2. I work backwards. If I divide by 2 first, then I have to multiply by 2 to get to my height. So, or if I divide by 2 last, I have to multiply by 2 first. That's what I meant. So 175 hundredths times 2. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 7 is 14 plus 1 is 15. 2 times 0 plus 1. 2 times 0. 2 times 1. Move my decimal. Okay. So this is what I have with that step. I say, okay, 201 5/10 equals 13 times my height. My base is 13. Now I have to undo this. H is going to equal 201 5/10 divided by 13. So 201 5/10 divided by 13. And I'm actually not going to use long division. I'm going to use calculator. That's going to give me 15.5. No. Yes, 15.5. Sorry. So my height has to be 15.5 centimeters. Okay, problem 119. Evaluate each of the following expressions for x equals 10. Leave your answers as fractions. Show your work. So you need to show your work. Make sure you're taking your time. So everywhere I see an x, I'm going to substitute a 10. And I'm just going to keep working to the side, so then below it I can do my calculations. So 2/3 times 10 over 1 equals 20/3. So I have 20/3 plus 8/9. Well, I have to get a common denominator. My common denominator is 9. I have 8/9 already. I just have to get 20/3. 20/3, use a giant 1. 3 times 3 is 9. 20 times 3 is 60. 60/9 plus 8/9 is 68/9. 9 goes into 68 7 times with 5 left over. Okay, 1/2 times 10 minus 41. 1/2 times 10 over 1 is 10 divided by 2. So that equals 5 minus 41. It's going to be a negative number. 41 minus 5 is 36. So my answer is negative 36. Okay, I have 10 plus 10 plus 3/4 times 10 plus 22. 3/4 times 10 is 30/4. 4 goes into 37 times with 2 left over, which is 7 1/2. So I can rewrite this as 10 plus 10 plus 7 1/2 plus 22. 10 plus 10 is 20 plus 7 1/2 plus 22. 27 1/2 plus 22 equals 49 1/2. Problem 120, without using a calculator, find the following quotients. We are dividing. Remember, with fractions, I keep the first one, I change my sign, and I flip the second fraction. 3 times 2 is 6. 8 times 1 is 8. I have to simplify. I can divide by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Part B, 27 42/100 divided by 1 2/10. I move my decimal, goes straight up. 12 does not go into 2, but it does go into 27 2 times. 27 minus 24 is 3. Bring down my 4. 12 goes into 34 2 times. 34 minus 24 is 10. Bring down my 2. 12 goes into 102 8 times. That is 96. Borrow from my 1. 12 minus 6 is 6. And then I have zeros for the rest. I have to add a 0. I want to keep going. 12 goes into 60 5 times. 60 minus 60 is 0, which means that I am done. Which means that the answer is 22 85/100. Part C, I'm dividing fractions again. I need to change it to a improper fraction. So I go 1 times 2 is 2 plus 1 is 3. So I have 3/2 divided by 1/6. When I divide, I keep, change, flip. 3 times 6 is 18. 2 times 1 is 2. 18 divided by 2 is 9. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to come and talk to me.